You're part of a legacy. So this is the Commonplace Binder, Commonplace book. I'm going to put this down. Yeah, so Commonplace Binder 101, that is the playlist. There are going to be 100 videos in this playlist. We're on video number 91 right now. This is this is the video you're watching, and this is the next one. So we're going to go through these one row, actually it's a column at a time, and let's get started. You're part of a legacy. So if you are an expert beginner, you probably learned from somebody. And so one of the things that's great about a Commonplace Binder or a Commonplace book is you can write down stuff and then look at it later. And if you're looking at it, then maybe you could also give it to somebody else afterwards. Your wealth of knowledge. So you probably know some things, I probably know some things, the average person probably knows some things. Now, we don't necessarily all know the same things. Like, I know pretty much nothing about cars, for example. But there might be some people who only know things about cars. They know everything about cars. And so it's very good to store the wealth of knowledge. But your wealth of knowledge is going to be different, and so whatever is in your book is only going to be relevant to you, probably. But it would be cool if in the future we all had a little bit of everybody else's knowledge as well. Credibility. So we don't really need to worry about the credibility here because this is a place for ourselves to write things down. Now, historically speaking, some people did use their Commonplace book to get credibility in some way because they basically have their notes out, which would kind of be like the modern equivalent of just reading from a phone. It's like, I'm going to debate my friend and, oh, look at this. I have the information on my phone, which proves that I'm correct. Which seems a little ridiculous to do. Like, that's a little juvenile. But yeah, panning for gold. One of the great things is if we write down our ideas and we look at them later, we'll probably find out that some of them are good, some of them are bad, and some of them are just okay. So what we can do is we can get rid of the bad ones and we can double the good ones. That's nice. Plagiarism in schools. Okay, so one of the reasons why I think it's really good idea to have these in schools, and I'm really confused as to why we don't. I mean, I know why we don't. It's because a lot of class-related things. You know, just like poor people will probably try to get money, and then middle-class people will try to get higher up in the system, and then the people near the top will just kind of try to hold on to their power. And so if every single person has access to the plagiarism machine, that might not be beneficial for the people at the very top. And so either they're going to prevent all of us from having it, or they're going to start playing a different sort of game. In the same way where it's like if every single person has a college degree, we're not going to use the college degree to get jobs, we're going to use something else. So instead of relying on the plagiarism machine, I feel like it'd be good if we all relied on our own little bit of knowledge stored in a book. Pros and cons. So one of the pros of having a book that has everybody's information in it, specifically whichever student was using it, is they can just be like, yeah, I did stuff. It's right here. There's no real way to doubt it because it's like they hand wrote it. Now, you could say that all of this stuff was printed, and that will make things a little bit more complicated. But I don't know if that's really a con. I guess the main con is this takes a long time. It's a physical object, so it takes up space. And because it's an additional object, it's going to cost more money. But other than that, there aren't really any cons. It's just kind of like, if you take notes, you should be able to hold on to your notes. And if you hold on to your notes, you should be able to use your notes. Otherwise, why are we taking the notes in the first place? Community consensus. So one of the things that we could do that would be really easy would be if someone graduates in the top half of the class, we simply copy whatever their notes were, and then we give them to 2 incoming students. And so every new student at the school now has information from the top half of the graduating class. And so that isn't necessarily the exact information that the community would agree on, but it should be pretty good compared to what the student would start with. And if we're all just going to work with the AI stuff, then the individual people don't really have any value. It's just how they can use the machine, and then at some point the machine is going to be better than the people, and like there's not really going to be any point to any of this. Actualizing talent. So maybe the thing to do is learn how to do a thing and then do it better and then be the best at it. But yeah, I don't know if that's really the thing that's going to be written down in the binder, unless you just have a book to like hype yourself up, which is fine. But that's not necessarily how everybody else is going to use this. AI improve careers. Okay, so if we can actually do something to assist the AI, maybe we can protect ourselves some way. Because it just kind of seems like it's eating everything. And so, yeah, if we're going to base everything on the assumption it's not going to eat anything else, don't think that's going to work out for us. Society of shortcuts. And the reason for that is, like, the reason the AI-proof careers need to be talked about is because we just keep automating everything. We're like, oh, it's for efficiency. Of course, the people who are saying we need efficiency and everything are also the people who are, hoarding all of the resources that would make everybody else more efficient in the first place. But yeah, we're just going to keep taking shortcuts, and we're not necessarily going to know where the knowledge comes from, so it might be good to at least have the step-by-step process so people can see where the information actually came from. Even if it's right or wrong, or, it has a clear political agenda, at least we'll know where it came from. Lifetime experience. I don't know if we're really going to be able to put lifetime experience into a commonplace book if we keep it in school, because the world is changing fairly quickly. And when the world changes quickly, the information that the old people try to give everybody is sometimes not just bad, but it's like actively harmful, because it just doesn't line up with reality whatsoever, and hasn't in decades. And so it might be good to have a lifetime of experience when it comes to, painting like miniature figurines or something. But there's a lot of other experience where it's not really going to work out. And there's no way to like verify that any of this stuff is good. Also, do you ask the person for their notes when they're 100, or do you do it when they're 80, or do you do it when they're 60 or 40? And because there's no way to tell when we should really get the information from the people, I think the best way to do it is to just have the students who score in the top half of the class pass on their notes. And so this way, half the people will have their stuff still in existence, and 100% of people would be able to hold on to their notes because it's their notes. Pushing the boundaries. So this might be pushing the boundaries of plagiarism and cheating and a whole bunch of other things that schools don't really appreciate. But it's kind of gotten to the point where the school has nothing to do with reality after school. It's a really big problem. Because we're focusing on like these standardized tests, but do they include how to do taxes, how to start a business, how to actually run a household, how to have a significant other, how do we deal with like a death in the family? How do we like help somebody out if they were just born? Like, there's so many random things that we just don't cover. And so if we're focusing all on this like standardized testing thing, and we're making sure that every single person is only working with their own information and it's all from memory, when we basically don't use memory in the modern world, we just kind of search something. And now it's even like moving on from that, where we just use a machine to search for us. If we're still focused on the memorization, we're really, really going to cause ourselves problems, because we have one set of skills and we need to get another set of skills. And so if we don't have anything to bridge the gap, we're just going to jump from one to the next, and we're going to miss all the information in the middle. Journey together. So one of the really cool things about passing notes on from one person to another is it'll feel like a journey that everybody's going on at the same time. Because if I left my notes behind at a school and that school had students who were still using it like 10 years later, I would definitely want to help them out. And so I think this should help people integrate into their community quite effectively, because the notes are going to be spread around. and they're going to come from a few different sources. Hungry for work. Yeah, a lot of students don't really want to be in school because they see all the adults freaking out about money, and so it's like, I should probably get some of that. And it might be helpful to at least have some proof of what they did. You know, like this might be some proof if it's all their notes. Because a big binder of things says a lot more than a sheet of paper. And so while it's great to have a diploma, I'm not really sure if that's what people are going to be asking about 10 years from now. Balanced approach. However, we don't know what people are going to be doing 10 years from now, or 100 years, or 1,000 years from now. So it's probably good to just try a whole bunch of different approaches, which is why next year, in 2026, I will be focusing on how to implement a variety of school systems within one specific school system. So if you're interested in that, check out the next videos. But we still have a few things to go before I say to watch the next video. Art of noticing. So if we're looking through everybody else's notes, we might start to see patterns. There might be no patterns, though. So it might be we're just trying to create something out of nothing. And that's okay. It's just maybe not what we want to be doing. Who knows? Elite narrative. Maybe that's just what the elites want you to think. No. I assume the elites are going to focus on different things when it comes to being an expert or even being a beginner, because a lot of people who are considered elites don't exactly start off as beginners. Like, they'll start off going to a very specific kindergarten, or more likely something before the kindergarten, or maybe even something before the thing before the kindergarten. And they'll have people to help them out, probably at least one person with a master's degree in education or something adjacent to it. They're going to get the good food and the good sleep and all the other stuff, to the point where they have probably been helped out more than like the average fifth grader by the time they even enter kindergarten. So they might say, oh yeah, it's all possible. But they're creating a system where they're going to benefit, because that's how they got to the top, and that's how they stay at the top, because they controlled the system. And that's not necessarily like a bad thing, but it is definitely a thing to take note of, because there are some policies that people will push that make absolutely no sense unless, we think about it as someone just trying to hold on to their power. Resulting collaboration. Okay, so as far as I know, in the past, probably still now in some parts around the world, one of the benefits of having a university education was not necessarily the sheet of paper and not necessarily the stuff that was studied there, but also the other people who would go to the school. Because if some people were very talented and other people just had like an endless stream of money, probably be good to combine the two people, or at least have them hang out. Because if they work on projects together, the person with all the ideas and, maybe another person with the capability to actually get things done, and then another person with the funds to actually make it happen, would work pretty well together. Speak. So in order to become a beginner, we have to say that we want to become a beginner, or we actually have to put in the effort to meet the people who are going to help us out. Or at least we used to. Now maybe we can just Google things, except I heard some people actually say ChatGPT things, which is crazy. So I don't know. Maybe we don't need to talk at all. Although I'm a little bit more worried about people losing the ability to write than everybody losing the ability to speak. So yeah, I'm not really sure how that's going to go, but we've got one more thing. Become. So how do you become an expert beginner? Probably get some help from somebody. I don't think it's going to work when it's just one person. That seems very silly. It might be the thing to do is to struggle and keep struggling and struggle and struggle and struggle, and then ask for help. But I assume that's not ideal. So, just try the thing and keep doing it. But also, if you want to know some other ways to keep a commonplace book or a commonplace binder, probably check the next video. It might be about something else. This is an abbreviated version of the next title. So, bye.